This is the AM News. Let's start now. The minority in Parliament say the power distributors have been shedding load and there is a shortage of more than 500 megawatts of power as of yesterday. Between Tuesday and Wednesday, the ECG has put out several notices of outages in parts of the country, but has attributed the power cuts to routine maintenance. But minority spokesperson on energy, Jinapor, says the power cuts is actually due to load shedding, attributing the situation to poor management of the power sector.
As we speak today, there is load shedding ongoing. Gridco has been cautioned not to inform customers. Yesterday, there was a deficit of more than 500 megawatts. Today, they are going to shed load and customers in Ghana will be affected. Talo Ghana has not been paid even $1 for the past 9 months for gas supply to Ghana Gas. And Talo is threatening to curtail supply of gas. The IPPs have just dispatched a letter to the Minister of Finance intending to halt supply of power for debt and liabilities hovering around $1.2 billion. It is sad.
The minority say there is currently pressure on the CEO of Ghana Gas to enter into an $800 million gas processing contract. The minority insists such an arrangement must come to Parliament, without which a future NDC government will hold those who put any such contract in force for causing financial loss to the state.
The minority once again has become aware of attempts by the Flagstaff House to compel the chief executive of the Ghana Gas Company Limited to sign a contract for gas processing at a whopping cost of more than $800 million. The initial tender had to do with a company called Phoenix. Surprisingly and strangely, that company has metamorphosized into an SPV, ostensibly to avoid parliamentary scrutiny. But more importantly, as we speak, the government of Ghana and Ghana Gas have not secured a firm commitment on the supply of raw gas for processing by this entity that they want to sign a contract with.
Moving on, Chinese miners, backed by some influential Ghanaian collaborators, have taken over one of Goldfield's old shafts at Takwa, threatening the company's operations. Despite series of warnings, arrests and an injunction from the Takwa High Court prohibiting further development and activation of the mainstream shaft, the Chinese miners and their assigns have laid siege and are solidifying their takeover. Love FM's Erastus Asare Donko, who has been speaking to sources at Goldfield and assessing the situation, reports there could be conflicts and fatalities if the encroachment is allowed to fester. There's more in this report.
Goldfields Ghana Limited acquired Takwa Goldfields Limited in July 1993 and developed a new open pit mine by 1998. In 1999, the company closed down its underground operations and associated shafts, including the Mantrim shaft located within the Brahababume community. Some indigents of the town are leading Chinese miners in an encroachment and a forced reopening of the shaft. The Mantrim shaft is located few meters from the pit wall to Goldfields' main Tebrebe pit, and there are concerns any occupation of the shaft could lead to fatalities. Experts at the University of Mines and Technology have spelled out the dangers in opening the old shaft for small-scale mining. Here is Dr. Eric Stem, Senior Lecturer and Head of the Department of Environment and Safety, Dr. Shadrach Fosu, Senior Lecturer, Minerals and Material Science, and Dr. Theophilus Joe Asari, Environment and Occupational Health and Safety.
Underground mines, when there is going to be blasting, you have to be able to account for everybody who has gone underground and make sure that they've come to the surface before you do blast. But I think the challenge with most of the small-scale underground mines is that there is really no proper system to account for those who have gone underground. So it's possible that you are doing a blasting, but some people are still underground because they've not been accounted for.
So they start chopping off the pillars that was left by the technical people who designed the underground mining. And then they tend to use wood to support the natural roof. If you look at the strength of the roof and using wood, you can see there is vast difference in terms of structural design, which can lead to collapse.
The ventilation system, which is another key area. So in an underground mine, you have an opening, and there's another opening will become your venting point. They don't know. Most of the community mine, you have 1, 2 pits, or maybe 1 tunnel, and you have 2 community mines. So instead of being entry and exit, one is using this point as an entry, the other community mine is also using the same point as an entry. So ventilation is a very key issue.
Police interventions, series of requests to national security and applications to the Chamber of Mines and the Minerals Commission to help stop the encroachment have failed to yield any results. Reporting for Joy News, Erastus Asaredonko, Takwa, Western Region.
Other stories, the Electoral Commission is well equipped to deliver free and fair elections. That's according to President Akufo-Addo, who has told the international community at the United Nations headquarters in New York that Ghana's long-standing record of being a beacon of democracy will not be undermined. The president on Wednesday, that's just yesterday, delivered his last address to a gathering of world leaders with a charge to the international community to safeguard the peace and security of West Africa, which is grappling with a surge in unconstitutional takeover of government.
Peace cannot be imposed from the outside. It must be built from within. African nations must take ownership of their security, and the African Union needs to strengthen itself to be able to respond swiftly to threats. Madam President, as I speak today, ongoing developments in West Africa are deeply troubling. Military coups in Mali, Guinea, Burkina Faso, and Niger threaten the democratic progress we have worked so hard to achieve within the ECOWAS community. These coups are stark reminders that democracy is indeed fragile and must be continually nurtured. In Ghana, however, we will remain resolute in our commitment to democracy. As my presidency draws to a close, I want to assure this Assembly that the upcoming 2024 elections in Ghana will be free, fair, and transparent.
Meanwhile, the president is making a call for reforms in the United Nations Security Council. Known as the most influential organ of the international organization, member states of the United Nations have been at the mercy of the 5 permanent members of the Security Council, which excludes African countries. However, taking his turn to address the 79th United Nations General Assembly, President Akufo-Addo says Africa must be given representation as a Security Council.
Reform is essential to ensure that the Council is more inclusive, democratic, and responsive to the complex challenges we face today. The world has changed, and the Security Council must change with it to maintain its relevance in promoting global peace and security. For years, I've championed the need to reform the Security Council as per the Ezulwini Consensus, the common African position on UN reform, which calls for Africa to have permanent seats on the Council. It is incomprehensible that a continent of 1.4 billion people has no permanent voice in shaping decisions that affect global peace and security. The time for half measures is over. We need a Security Council that is fit for purpose in today's world. It is heartening, however, that finally the demand for reform has found acceptance by leaders of 2 of the 5 permanent members.
Now, NPP flag bearer Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has revealed plans to launch a groundbreaking credit score system into Ghana's economy next month. He emphasized that this system will make hire purchase arrangements easier and more accessible for consumers, boosting purchasing power across the nation. During his campaign tour of the Asin Central constituency, Dr. Bawumia explained that the Ghana card and digital address system introduced by the NPP have paved the way for this transformative initiative, aligning Ghana with global financial practices.
Ghana card, Obia identity. Yabeya digital address system, Obia address. Yabeya mobile money interoperability, Obia bank account. Enti adia here say be so yabeya credit system no, and also Ghana. We have put in place all the pillars. Enti over the last 2 years, ni huejuma to introduce a credit system into Ghana. Yame adum na mikase next year na ebe shares here. But ye ejumano. So yame adum next month I will launch the credit scoring system for Ghana.
Managing Director of ARB Apex Bank, Alex Kwesi Ewa, has disclosed that they have deployed a total of 688 sale of points devices aimed at enhancing SUSU or mobile deposited mobilization. He noted that the deployment of these devices has enabled them to implement the necessary controls to reduce cash suppression and associated fraud. He made a statement in a speech read on his behalf at the 40th anniversary of Zonzele Rural Bank PLC at Jinapor. Joy News Upper West Regional Correspondent Rafiq Salam reports from Jinapor.
Zonzele Rural Bank PLC, headquartered at Jinapor, was granted license to operate as a bank by the Bank of Ghana in 1983. It was established with a mission of providing accessible, reliable, customer-centered banking services that foster economic growth and social development. Managing Director of ARB Apex Bank, Alex Kwesi Ewa, in a speech read on his behalf by the head of banking, Mark Odo Ajayi, poured effusive commendations on Zonzele Rural Bank for the slew of customers and the increase of its branches from 1 to 5.
For the past 40 years, Zonzele Rural Bank has achieved impressive growth and milestones, boasting a large and loyal customer base in excess of 16,000 individuals and businesses, including groups. This is no mean achievement. While strategically expanding its branch network to 5 conveniently located branches across this region. Furthermore, the bank has pioneered innovative financial products and services, including 1, a user-friendly mobile banking application, a personalized financial planning tools, countless or contactless payment solutions, eco-friendly investment options.
Technical report to they have deployed 688 point of sale devices, which will enhance SUSU or mobile deposited mobilization, aimed at reducing cash suppression and associated fraud.
ARB Apex Bank and the rural banks, we have deployed 688 point of sales devices to enhance SUSU or mobile deposit mobilization. This has enabled us to implement the necessary controls to reduce cash suppression and associated fraud. We invite all RCDs to join the paradigm shift and leverage these innovative solutions to improve customer experience, drive growth, and promote financial inclusion.
Board Chairman of Zonzele Rural Bank PLC, Michael Hussein, was enumerating the successes chalked by the bank, including the construction of a 3-unit classroom block, looks ahead into the future.
Digital transformation, leveraging technology to improve efficiency, accessibility, and customer engagement. Product innovation, developing tailored solutions for our customers' evolving needs. Community empowerment, expanding our financial inclusion initiatives and supporting local economic development.
Former Chief Director of the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources and now a Divisional Chief at Tuopare under the Uloparamosi, now Professor Bruce Kofi Banoy Yakubu, was paying glowing tribute to the pioneers who laid the foundation for the bank to start, posited that the bank over the years has demonstrated its ability to adapt, innovate, and strive even in the face of challenging times.
From its inception to the present day, the bank has consistently demonstrated its ability to adapt, innovate, and strive even through difficult times, even in the face of the challenging financial services environment as a result of the banking sector cleanup. Some
staff of the bank receive awards for their dedication and commitment to their work. Reporting for Dre News, Rafik Salam, Jireba.
Let's do some health stories. The pediatric oncology unit at the Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital has taken the initiative to raise public awareness about childhood cancers. This comes at the back of late reports of cases by parents from poor households due to fear of costs and misconceptions. There is more in the following report by David Opoku, read to you.
Oncology department at the Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital treats around 175 cases of childhood cancers every day. The department is using the month of September to raise awareness about childhood cancers in various public spaces, including streets, marketplaces, and offices. The aim is to rally the public to support the fight against childhood cancer. Head of the unit, Dr. Vivian Paintel, stresses the importance of parents sending their children to the hospital promptly for cancer treatment.
Myth about childhood cancers. Some people think that childhood cancers are not curable. Okay, but what we know is that if children with cancers are seen early, about 80% of them can be cured. When we cure them, that means as a child, if you are cured by 3 years of age, 4 years of age, you have the rest of your life ahead of you for you to live. And so that is why we are making the noise today, going around to tell people that children do get cancer, and when they do, when we all join our hands together, we can be able to fight them, because one person can't fight cancer because of the cost and all that involved. So all of us, it takes a whole village, it takes a whole city, it takes a whole nation. So all of us are needed for us to be able to fight cancer.
Dr. Paintel entreated individuals and organizations to join initiatives for childhood cancer.
And I would say the situation is dire. It is better than it used to be, but still there is still more room for improvement. And all of us, corporate bodies, NGOs, individuals need to come together. Those who are rock stars, who sing, they are the ones who currently have lots of money. Footballers, everybody can come around. You can possibly adopt one child who can't afford treatment. You can adopt that child so that that child can be cured of their cancers.
Board chairman of the National Health Insurance Authority, Dr. Ernest Kwaku, said the NIA is implementing programs to address childhood cancers. He says the goal is to improve early detection and ensure effective treatment for affected children.
It's a pleasure to have you join us for the walk. This is something we have been doing to raise awareness about childhood cancer, especially to tell the general public about how to be able to tell early signs and symptoms so that they will bring the children early for us to treat them. Fortunately, there are a lot of specialists that have been trained to give prompt care once the children are brought. And also another bit about the care that is taken care of now, at least for 4 of them, is that the financial access barrier has been broken. We at the National Health Insurance have brought these 4 onto the benefit package so that with early detection and prompt action by all the specialists around, then with financing, children can be cured. The benefit package we have offered is what the specialists have told us to offer. Of course, there are a few things that are out of the range of the benefit package, including some investigations. But at least the 4 that are being covered, you will have treatment costs up to the end of the treatment.
David Opoku's reports for Joy News.
For our first story in the business updates, the Liquefied Petroleum Gas Marketers Association is warning of a looming shortage of LPG supply this weekend if the Tema oil refinery does not swiftly address the challenge. Already, parts of Accra and Tema metropolis have been hit by LPG supply shortage owing to what some industry players say are supply issues with toll. Although management of Tema Oil Refinery have disclosed to Joy Business that the issues have been resolved and will normalize soon, the LPG marketers maintain the issue must be addressed immediately before it escalates. Gabriel Kumi is the Vice President of the LPG Marketers Association.
But we understand there were some meetings going on. And if that has been resolved, then by tomorrow, early tomorrow morning, we expect that when we place orders with these BDCs, they should be able to honor the orders so that we can give consumers some relief. Because today we could see people struggling to get LPG, and that is not good at all. And tomorrow is Thursday, we'll be running into the weekend. So if this problem is not resolved today, by tomorrow morning, then it means into the weekend we are likely to have some serious shortage of that. Yes, tomorrow if you can let your reporters check from the LPG retail outlets. You could see that, as I indicated, about 60–70% of us had run out of LPG as a close of today, and this is going to put a lot more pressure on the 30–40% that has the product. So if we don't get supply into the system by close of tomorrow, then by close of tomorrow we expect that the shortage will rise to about 80–90%. And by Friday, the whole system will be dried up.
Stakeholders in the e-commerce industry bemoan the poor connectivity in certain parts of the country as hindrance to the growth of the e-commerce sector. The sector, which is valued at over 900 million cedis, also plays a pivotal role in actualizing the African Continental Free Trade Area. Speaking with Joy Business at the 3rd National E-Commerce Forum and Exhibition, Emmanuel Mumuni, Component Manager at GIZ, noted that reliable connectivity to remote parts of the country will expand reach and promote inclusion.
There are lots of people that are still not part of this digital transformation that we're talking about. And that's just a market that we are leaving out because if people are living in peri-urban or rural areas and don't have any connectivity, it's a market that it's not buying online. And the more we integrate them, the more we include them, it becomes another market segment that people selling online can attract or can sell to. And so we're working a lot with World Bank, with the ministry, to expand accessibility. So the Ghana Investment Fund for Electronic Communication is doing a lot, installing telecommunication masts in various rural communities that they can have basic internet connectivity, and that would improve e-commerce as well. So we have a startup that we are supporting, and they were scaling into Nigeria, and they talked a lot about the size of the Nigerian market. And they had a lot of investments as well. But they started their business in Nigeria, and the kind of traction that they were expecting with the numbers that they were quoting at the beginning wasn't the reaction that they had. And the further research that they did was clear that the literacy rate and the connectivity in Nigeria is what is limiting them in terms of the numbers that they could do, because you can say, yeah, Nigeria is more than 200 million, but how many of them are included in the digital space? How many of them are digitally literate to even buy and sell online? And those are the issues that we have in Ghana as well, that we need to take that seriously.
And this ends the AM News Bulletin on the AM Show. Now the conversations begin, starting with the news review segment. And my guests will be joining me shortly, so don't miss it. We'll be right back.